Alright, the video's on prime start on your Yamaha engine. Try to jump right into here if we can. If you're using your little red knob in here and you're not having any success and you're still fouling plugs out and you're trying your best to get the engine going and something's still wrong, I don't know if you can quite see in here or not. At the very bottom of this here, you have a tube that runs through here, and there is a vacuum hose that runs through here, and it actually runs to the block that's there. What happens here is there's a little teeny O-ring inside of there, and what happens with the O-ring, when the O-ring goes bad, whether you have the prime start on or off, it still sucks fuel into the side here. About the only way you're going to be able to fix this is to actually unplug the hose, cap it off, and cap it off at the other end to it as well. By doing this, this stops it from where the inside here, even though you may have it shut off here, but still on the inside, it will pull gas through that one little O-ring there that separates the inside diaphragm area there. So that's a very important key. It drives a lot of people nuts. They don't know what's going on. You're continuously fouling plugs out. You don't know why. This is generally what's going on with it. One little damn O-ring in there is generally what causes it. I'll do a breakdown on this and kind of show you on paper what this looks like, so at least you'll have a pretty good idea. Okay, I got to pull the oil back. It's about the only way the oil container here just kind of pulled it back and kind of show you what's going on here. There's the tube that I'm discussing here, right here. It goes right into the backside of the prime start. There's like a little diaphragm there on the inside of it and an O-ring that separates whether it's getting gas in there or not. So this tube runs up through here to the intake right there. Alright, what the intake does is every time it does like an intake stroke here, it sucks that gas in. So this is what's causing your plugs to foul out. So it's getting too much gas all the time. You can simply just plug this off in an emergency case here and plug this off here on this side. So you plug in both areas here, especially on the side of the block, and especially here. Put your screw in the hose or something on both sides and cap it off. And that'll more than likely get you back in if you're having trouble or something like that. But if you're not having any luck with the knob here, this is more than likely what's going on inside. It's not a very complicated thing on the inside of here. It's actually pretty cool how it works. But get you a little more familiar with what's going on with the prime start. This is generally where your issue lies. And I have run into the issue where every O-ring I put in, ethanol either eats it up, or if the O-ring goes bad from just regular gasoline. I have learned and found that if you use the green air conditioning O-rings, they're a little tighter and a little harder to get in there when you go to replace it, but they seem to last a hell of a lot longer. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Okay, this is going to be your basic breakdown on your prime start unit. Some engines have more than one on them. Some have 3, some have 1, some have 2. They're just all different ways. This is the breakdown here. This is your solenoid here. Easiest way to check it is apply 12 volts here. One's your ground, one's your positive. And it's a wax-filled solenoid, so this is going to allow you to take and see if it opens or closes. Now, keep in mind, the colder it is, this is how the prime start works. If it's super, super cold outside, it takes longer for the wax to heat up in order to close the spot that it's in. And if it's really warm outside, it's faster opening and closing. So, no matter how many times you turn the key on, ignition on, to crank the engine up, this damn thing's going to come on all the time, whether you like it or not. That's just how the system works. Alright, so I get this kind of situated here. Alright, the O-ring I was discussing earlier, I'll get this fixed again here, some kind of way. That'll work. Just a piece of paper. Alright, if you're fouling plugs out and you've been over here and you've cut the switch off here, alright, this controls whether the fuel goes through here or not. This is what gives the fuel to go through here as it travels in. And you're still having fouling plugs out. This is the O-ring here that you're generally going to be having trouble with right here. It's like $2 or $3 for the O-ring. It's not very expensive. You can find all these parts through Crowler Marine. They're very cheap. They're not too bad. Shipping's okay, I guess. It does have 2 reed valves on it as well. You have a reed valve here, and there's another reed valve somewhere. It is right there. Diagram here. One goes on one side, one goes on the other. And it basically works like a bubbler does or an aerator or something like that. They're not completely totally sealed, but you know, every time the engine goes onto an intake stroke or a compression stroke, whatever, it causes this to go back and forth like that, and that's how it allows the gas to go through as it goes. But generally, if you're having fouling the plugs out and everything else is okay here, this is generally your biggest culprit right here. Just one little O-ring. Gas gets past it, and once the O-ring's bad, it flows right through here and out of the backside as it pulls vacuum from the engine. It comes right into here through a hose and goes right in the side of that block. It's a continuous flow of gas, and it will keep on going no matter whether you have this turned off or not. It still goes. So most of the time, this is the biggest issue when trying to crank one up and it's not working right. That one little O-ring. Every once in a while, you have a diaphragm bad here, there. I don't really see that happening a whole lot unless you're running a lot of ethanol. But the ethanol does destroy the O-rings inside. This one here, especially here, that is the biggest one. It goes right on the back side of here, which you'll see if you take it apart, and you basically forcing it in there very carefully as you're putting it back together. And it may be kind of a pain in the butt to pull out too as well. So hope this video is helpful for you. All this can be found on Crowler Marine. This is where I got all my stuff from. I'm not going to tear my whole unit apart just so somebody can see how it looks. This is just as good right here. So hope this helps you out. Good luck.